A few months ago, I set up PixLab, a company whose aim is to bring you Lightroom presets emulating the most popular camera films. The preset pack we're going to look at today is the Kodak Portra pack, bringing you 3 emulations of 3 of the most popular films in the Kodak Portra range. I'm really excited to show you this pack. They are such a versatile collection of presets. So let's head into Lightroom and I'll show you what we've got. Okay, so now we're in Lightroom, and once you've downloaded the packs, you'll see them here in the preset window in the develop module. So you have the PixLab Kodak Portra pack here, and also the PixLab tools, which is included in every pack. Now the first one we're going to look at is Portra 160. Now this film stock is renowned for its fine grain and detail, as well as its beautiful soft color palette. It's great for portraits, it's perfect for portraits really. And in fact, all of these Portra presets are fantastic for portraits. Portra 160's got a low contrast and a slightly more muted tone than the others, but let's dive in and have a look. So taking this picture here, it's a kind of environmental portrait. If I just put the Portra 160 preset on, immediately you can see the effect that it has. It really gives it that beautiful portrait look, especially take note of all the greens as well as the skin tones. Now what I'm going to do in this picture is I'm just going to add a little bit of warmth here, and I'm just going to go into tools and save the highlights ever so slightly by clicking save highlights 1, and I like how that looks. I'm just going to add a little bit of a vignette. Yeah, just vignette 1, and to be honest, I think that's done. Now, if I just zoom in here, you can see the grain. Now, the film-like grain we've used with this preset just looks absolutely beautiful. If I just go before and after the preset's applied, just have a look at how this grain just, you know, adds that beautiful texture to the photo. Zooming out again, let's just have a look at the before. And that's the after. You can see that is a beautiful transformation. Moving on, we've got another portrait, this one in a studio environment. If I just add the Portra 160 preset, there you go, straight away, that looks absolutely fantastic. You can see it's got that beautiful muted look to it that is just, this film stock is famous for. I just love what it does to skin tones, and I love what it does to blues as well. In this instance, I'm just going to head into the toolkit. I don't want to do much to this. I think it looks really good already. I'm just going to save the highlights ever so slightly. There we go. Maybe I'll boost the vibrance a tiny bit. Yeah, vibrance boost 2. And again, just because of the portrait, I'm just going to add a bit of a stronger vignette there. And there we go. That's the before. That's the after. Moving on, we have probably one of the most famous camera film stocks ever, Portra 400. This is one of my favorite presets in the PixLab Kodak Portra pack. So this is a studio portrait. I'm just going to put Portra 400 on, and you can see already that's looking fantastic. It has all the hallmarks of the Portra look, the way it deals with the skin tones and the blues, but also the contrast as well, and just the level of saturation in the photo, the kind of muted look. It just, you know, it all comes together with this preset. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to lift the exposure up slightly. That's good. And I'm going to head into the toolkit, and I'm going to save the highlights. Yeah, save highlights 1. And I'm going to put vignette 2 on, and there we go. So if we look at the before and the after, you can see the transformation it's had on that photo. It's got all the hallmarks of that Portra look that is so sought after. And you can just see with just a few clicks, this portrait, you know, this studio portrait is ready to go off to the client. The next photo is a street portrait. Now, of course, Portra 400 works so well with skin tones, and it has that kind of muted look. But even with this really, really vibrant photograph, I want to show you how great this preset is. So if I just apply the preset, Already you can see it's bringing in some of those pastel tones, but it has also a bit more warmth than the Portra 160 preset. So what we're going to do with this one, I'm going to head into the Pixlab toolkit. I'm just going to add a little bit of vibrance. I just want to bring out those colors ever so slightly more. I think I'm going to put up the exposure ever so slightly, just one little notch there. And I'm just going to add a vignette 1. And for me, that looks fantastic. That is done. So let's look at the before and the after. That's a great transformation. And finally, the Portra 800 preset. Now, Portra 800 delivers all the hallmarks of the Portra range. You know, it's got the beautiful pastel colors and excellent skin tones, but it has a slightly higher contrast, a little bit more warmth, and slightly more grain. The slight lift in colors and contrast can really help to add formality to a photograph. So I just wanted to show it, first of all, in the context of a studio portrait. I'm just going to add Portra 800. There we go. That's looking great. Now, what I'm going to do slightly is, I'm just losing the highlights slightly. So I'm going to head into the toolkit. I'm going to go save highlights 1. Yeah, I might just save the shadows ever so slightly. Yeah, maybe there. That's looking really, really good. And I'm just going to, as I have been doing with the other portraits, just add a little bit of vignette just to draw the focus in on the subject. That looks fantastic. I'm so happy with that. Let's have a look at the before and the after. That is a really, really beautifully professional looking portrait. And finally, we have this higher contrast portrait, and I just want to show you how well the Portra 800 preset works with this kind of photo. So if I apply the preset already, so you can just see that it's blowing out the skin tone slightly, which is absolutely fine. What I'm going to do is lower the exposure, and I'm just going to head into the highlight slider and just bring that down ever so slightly. There we go. That is looking brilliant. I'm just going to head into the toolkit. Yeah, in this context, because it's there's not a huge sort of amount of color in this photo, I'm just going to add a little bit more vibrance just to lift those skin tones and also the color of this model's hair as well. And as always with my portraits, I always like to bring in a bit of the vignette. So there we go. That's the before. And that's the after, and you can see that is a beautiful, formal looking portrait, and I'm so happy with that. This preset pack is really, really fantastic for portraits, but also your kind of everyday photos, you know, just capturing your day-to-day life. It's a really, really versatile pack, and I hope you can see from this video that it's a wonderful addition to your preset collection. If you want to pick up the Pixlab Kodak Portra pack, then head to the links below, where you can also see the other packs we have available. Don't forget to tag your photos Pixlab presets, and thanks for watching.